Hey guys, welcome back to the Huddle with Three podcast. My name's Trey. I'm here with Dustin and Brian. We're going to go over a week 5 recap and then look on to week 6. We are going to start out with our all famous Huddy Awards. Brian, I'm going to let you start with it. You can go back to me and then I'll kick it to Dustin. So, who are you giving a Huddy to this week?
All right, my Huddy's going to go to Brock Purdy. He
Lord.
threw for 4 touchdowns today, or Sunday, excuse me. He looked really, really well, good, and the offense looked really well. So that team is flying on all cylinders right now.
Yeah.
So they are looking to head straight to the Super Bowl this year. So that is my Huddy. Trey, who's your Huddy too?
I agree with that. I think they're going all the way. I don't think anyone's stopping them. For me this week, I'm giving it to Jalen Hurts. Of course, the Eagles remain undefeated, and he led the team in passing yardage, of course, since he's the quarterback, and rushing yards.
Oh wow.
That's not
All-purpose
bad.
play right there.
He's 5-0.
Um,
They're 5-0. So
yeah, 5-0. He's leading them at the helm. They look, they got their unstoppable tush push play, which I really hope that they don't ban because that's
they're
just
taking
gonna
talking
be
about that might be a big discussion this offseason. That's crazy.
that would be so dumb. Like it's just a
That makes sense
quarterback
to me.
sneak, dude.
I've
Stop
never
it.
heard someone call it a tush push. So,
The commentators are calling that now. They're talking
oh,
about it
really?
now. Yeah, everybody's talking about it.
What do you call it?
I call it a sneak. Quarterback
The
sneak.
brotherly shove? Like
Yeah.
Yeah, why not?
At least,
no.
I love how there's a tush push because someone's always touching somebody's butt. It's funny.
Well,
It's
that's
always
how they push. These people don't understand. Jason Kelsey's one of the best centers in the league. That's where it's going to start. And then I'm pretty sure Hurst can squat 600 pounds.
yeah, he's a strong man.
So, yeah. But that's what I'll give my Huddy to this week. I think he played outstanding. Of course, led the Eagles to stay undefeated. So, Dustin, who you giving it to?
I'm giving mine to Zach Moss. Zach
Okay.
Moss had a great game. That's even with Jonathan Taylor being back. Zach Moss, man, he had 165 yards. He's averaging 7 yards a carry, which is kind of nuts in this day and age in the NFL. So if he continues doing that, even with Jonathan Taylor coming back, he'll have a job next year somewhere. So for sure.
How do you think that they're going to handle that? Because, I mean, Jonathan Taylor's Jonathan Taylor, but you got a guy he's been playing pretty good all season, something to prove. But how do you think that they would handle that?
I mean, Jonathan Taylor got paid. That's what he wanted. So
Mm.
if he's getting paid, he should be the league rusher again. But if Zach Moss continues what he's doing, there's another team out there that needs a good running back him if he can stay consistent like this.
We can go ahead and over in Atlanta, go ahead and go sign him so we can have 17 running backs on the
Hey.
roster.
He could be a trade piece at the deadline.
True.
Yeah,
True.
that is true. He
Definitely
could be a
true.
trade piece. Then that was our Huddies. For week 5 takeaways, Brian, Trey, I want you to start with your week 5 takeaway. We discussed it before we started live, so this is going to be interesting. So, what was your week 5 takeaway for the week?
It's every time I pull for this team, they always let me down. Every single time. It's why I never pull for them and why I shouldn't have picked them last week in my pick.
Before you say
But
anything, can anybody guess who he's talking about?
yeah, I'm pretty sure they can. Just as a hint, I'm a pretty big fan of Stephen A, and he was pretty ecstatic about it.
Yeah.
But we are gonna go with the Cowboys.
How
Them
about those
boys.
Cowboys?
Dem boys,
Them boys,
America's team, 5 Super Bowls. Well, they looked like a mighty might football team trying to stop the 49ers this week.
Mm-hmm.
Now, granted, they of course do not have Trayvon Diggs, which is obviously a very beneficial piece of that defense. They really need him to succeed. But what else I noticed is they are built so heavily off the pass rush. And if they do not have a pass rush, their defense gets exposed like they did against the 49ers because you can't really rush the 49ers. They're so fast. They don't really have plays that are going to take a long time to develop. They're hand the ball off, run downfield or run downhill with McCaffrey and the whole legion of running backs that they have, running back university, I'm going to start calling them because they spit them out left and right.
Mm-hmm.
But just Trent Williams handled Micah Parsons. He was almost a non-factor in the game. I think he had a few tackles, but
He had 4.
yeah, 4 tackles. I mean,
The whole defense, everybody that is signed to Dallas played defense last night. Like that's their defensive group. They had probably the most people I've ever seen play. Like, and they still couldn't do anything. Like, I thought coming into the season, we all said Dallas has you said a couple videos that Dallas has the best defense. If San Francisco is picking them apart like this, that's going to be bad for Dallas. And Dan Quinn will be out of a job. again.
Oh
Well,
yeah,
that's gonna be bad for the whole NFL because Dallas is supposed to have the best defense in the NFL. If they're breaking them apart, imagine what they can do with a team that's not good. So
there.
It's kind of
it's
scary. It's kind of scary
It's
for
very
just
scary.
with Brian for Dallas. They lost Diggs and they probably lost Van Der Esch because of his neck. That's
mhm,
true. I mean, they have Micah Parsons, but he can't do it by himself. He's a
No,
great player, but he can't do it by himself.
no.
Mm. I really think they're gonna have to figure something else, and not just rely on their stars over there.
Mm-hmm.
I think they're still a solid defensive unit. It remains to be seen if the 49ers are just this good, because that might also be the case. They might just be so good that no defense can stop them. Matchup wise, I thought Dallas would give them the toughest test, but as we saw, to the tune of 40, 42 points or however much,
Mm-hmm.
they didn't really stand much of a chance.
They made
But
Brock Purdy look like an MVP candidate. You know what I mean?
yeah, they
He could
did.
be. He could be. He's playing really well. For me, I'll do mine. Justin Herbert's not being talked about at all.
Oh, the
He's having a
disrespect.
really good season. He almost has 1,200 yards. He has 7 touchdowns and one interception. And he has one of the highest QBR ratings, pass ratings, 106, third highest. Tua is ahead of him. So I mean, of course, Tua's throwing the ball like crazy, and Brock Purdy, they're throwing a lot. But this guy hasn't been talked about at all. Why do you guys think that is? What's going on? Do you think there,
I think it's just the Chargers. I mean, they never have people there. I mean,
or do you
all
think it's
those
the division he's in with Patrick Mahomes because he gets all the attention?
it could be. That division, of course, it's always gonna be ran by the Chiefs for the foreseeable future. It's gonna be ran by the Chiefs and their unstoppable team. We'll kind of touch on that later, but
Mm-hmm.
I think for one they're 500, so I mean they're not really blowing anybody away, and it's the Chargers. The Chargers never really get much attention anyways. They're kind of the I'd say out of that whole division, they're probably the least popular team,
Mm-hmm.
and I think that's why. But it's a little disrespectful because he's playing so good. But who knows, man? Who knows?
I
Brian.
mean, I just think that he's a social media quarterback. Everyone he has everything that everyone wants, but the team just never shows up to play, and they never can barely win a playoff game. So I feel like he needs to just prove everybody wrong and get in the playoffs and come in there quietly and make an upset, and just hammer during finish the season and then go into the playoffs.
I don't know how much I don't know how much of Staley he can overcome though. It really seems like Staley tries to lose games. Just some of the calls he makes, and I'm just like, I don't know. I think he should have been fired last year, but that's just me. They obviously have a different idea.
For me, the reason I think he's not being talked about is because Tua and Brock Purdy's having such a good season, and Purdy and Tua are so young. And so I know Justin Fields, not Justin Fields, but Justin Herbert is. But Tua's almost perfect, and so is Brock Purdy. So don't and they're from they have the Chargers and they have the Rams there, so they're both not playing well. So no one wants to talk about them. You know what I mean? But I feel like if he has another good game, he has to be in the conversation next week
Has to be.
in
Yeah,
somewhere. If it's coming out of nowhere, if it's he's being being quiet, his upcoming's being quiet, but he's having a phenomenal year. He's having a great year so far for him.
He is. Real quick, if you had to pick between two or Purdy, which one are you taking?
I'm picking Purdy. I mean, Purdy's been so consistent. I mean, before he got injured, he was great. Like it's crazy that he's Mr. Irrelevant and he could be the highest paid quarterback if he takes the Super Bowl this year.
Was he great, or does he just not make mistakes?
a little bit of both.
I mean,
I think there's a difference, but
he's throwing in
it's
small windows. I'll say that the window he threw into last week with Dallas defense, which they were playing good at the beginning. I mean, that window was super tight, and he pulled it, man. He's super impressive to watch.
I watched him at Iowa State all through his career, and he throughout his 10 years, excuse me, at Iowa State, and he was really good, really consistent. And the coach that he had, Matt Campbell, is the same way. He's kind of like Shanahan. Shanahan, it's a system that you're in, system. And I think Brock Purdy's in the right situation. Do I think he'd be successful anywhere else? I think he could be successful somewhere else, but not as successful. I think you'll see Mac Jones or Fields or someone else of that nature fall out of the league before he does.
Well, if he keeps winning, I mean, he ain't gonna fall out of the league at all.
Yeah,
I mean,
I,
this year for him after the injury, if he comes back and takes it to a Super Bowl, he definitely deserves money, and definitely deserves not even be a conversation about being a
he's not
backup
even getting
anymore.
paid $1 million a year right now. He's like 987,000 or something like that. Something
Yeah,
weird. He's barely making money. He's got a roommate. He's a
yeah.
starting quarterback, and it's one of his offensive linemen. So it's like, I mean, good for him. I'm hoping that he is successful, stays consistent, um, and we'll see. But my biggest takeaway right now is the AFC South is wide open with the Colts, the Titans, the Texans are in there, and the Jaguars. Jaguars are so up and down. They lose last week, or they beat us last week. They beat Bills this week. They look good, but 3 weeks before then, they didn't look that well. The Texans look consistent. The Colts look consistent. The Titans just look so. Everyone looks pretty consistent. I think it's going to come down to the final week to who makes the playoffs and that who wins the division. Excuse me, in that division.
And they're all young teams. I mean, none of them have really veteran team leadership. You know what I mean? For me, I'm gonna go with the Texans to make the playoffs in the first time since like 2016 with what they did with Deshaun Watson. CJ Stroud's playing amazing. He's playing like more than a rookie quarterback. But the Colts, I mean, with them bringing the way they ran last year, it's a great. I think that's the best division to watch every single game. I really do.
Yeah, no, 1,000%. I think the Jaguars are going to get it personally because they got Trevor Lawrence. They got the best quarterback in the division.
I wouldn't take Lawrence over CJ Stroud right now,
Wow,
personally. I
wow.
mean, yes, Lawrence is a generational talent, but Stroud's outplaying him right now, in
For
my
everybody
opinion.
who doesn't know, that could be a hot take.
I
Yeah,
he look at the
yeah,
stats. He's outplaying him right now.
Yeah.
yeah.
Now,
No,
Lawrence has a better team, no doubt,
Mhm.
but I think it's a lot closer than what people want to say. So,
no, for sure. You guys give us your biggest takeaway from Sunday, and let us know in the comments. We'd love to hear it. Everyone's got different opinions, but we can go to the next topic here. Are the refs a problem?
oh Lord,
Yeah, they're so bad. Yeah, they're so
let
bad.
let's let Dustin start this one off because he was pretty fired up about this before we started.
The refs are getting the Chiefs are paying the refs. That's what I'm gonna say. I'm saying it. I have to. They have to be. The Vikings would have won that game if that pass interference call would have happened, and the guy took his helmet off. The ref
Yeah,
said, "Put your helmet back on." That should have been an automatic flag and pushed him back. That is
he should have been off the
super.
field. Remember last year when we were
Yeah.
playing the Panthers, DJ Moore, he caught that big pet catch at the end of the game, took his helmet off, and they had to take him out.
Mhm.
They took him out for a play, and that's probably why they ended up losing. So
I don't know what the problem is. It's not just the Chiefs itself, but their refs are just blatant missy calls, especially with good teams like the Eagles. There was a big face mask on the defensive side last week, and they missed it. Like this dude ripped this dude's face off, and they missed it. I don't know what their problem is. But anytime someone plays the Chiefs, I feel sorry for them. It's just going to be a long, long game for them.
was that face mask call? Was it benefiting the Eagles or was it against the Eagles?
It was against them. They should have been it should have been called against them. Like the running back got Swift got like pulled
Oh yeah,
and they didn't
okay,
call it. But I mean,
gotcha.
it is what it is.
I think
So
the NFL Players Association has to come together this offseason and make Roger Goodell do something when it comes to the refs. Either they have to attend training camps all week, training camps every offseason, and lead someone, get someone that's been a referee for generations. But they also need some new people in there. There's always older generation. They
mhm.
need someone like out of the college ranks, getting someone that's 25, 26 years old calling NFL games. The game has changed a lot. So
Mhm.
you need a different perspective when it comes to refereeing. Some stuff can be ticky tack, but you got to have a better understanding of the game, and I feel like the older generation doesn't
I've
of the
I
newer
have
NFL.
I have enjoyed seeing a lot more women in there because they're not let the guys they're not letting the guys like push them around. It's awesome to see. It's funny when some girls like you ain't gonna do that to me. You know what I mean? So I mean, it's good to see that them putting their foot into it too, because I would never think that NFL lady ref would be in NFL. To be honest with you, I never thought
Yeah,
that would happen. But some of these lady refs, man, they don't fuck around. they want you to fuck around to find out. They want you to. So I mean, it is great to see. But Trey, is the rest going to be a long term problem, or is it something that can be fixed in the offseason?
I don't know if it can be fixed, honestly, because I mean we had similar discussions last year with were the refs an issue, and everyone's like, oh no, it's going to be different next year. They have the ability where you can challenge some calls now. You can challenge ref in the passer. I think you can challenge some pass interference. You can challenge calls.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's not really making much of a difference, and
No.
it, I don't know what else they could do, really. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, at the end of the day, that's kind of a part of professional sports. There is human error. I mean, there's going to be error, but some of them are just blatant. And I understand they're probably, I know they're supposed to be unbiased, but they're probably all fans too of different teams. If one of those refs is from Kansas City, he's most likely a Kansas City fan.
Mm-hmm.
And it's unconscious bias. He's probably not intending to, he or she, but if they do, it's part of the game, but I don't know what they could do to avoid it. Um, but I don't think it can be fixed in the off season. I think they can be better. Like I know Brian said something about training camps. I think they could be a little bit better, but I don't think it's all on the refs either. I
Mm-hmm.
don't know if you guys have listened to some of the commentary from these games. The amount of glazing that some of these freaking commentators do with some of these players is insane. I watched Mahomes throw an interception, and I think it was Chris Collinsworth. He goes, "Nobody can float the ball in there like Mahomes." As he throws an interception, like yes, Mahomes has been amazing.
Mm-hmm.
We're if if he plays at the level that he's played the last few years, I could see him being the greatest. I really could, just of how good he is and what he does. But come on, just you don't have to praise them that much. They know they're good. Everybody knows they're good. It's almost like they're trying to convince everybody like, hey, these guys are good.
Yeah.
Just in case you didn't
It's
know.
the NFL for God's sakes. I mean, come
Yeah.
on.
Well,
Yeah.
my big thing too is talking about like are the refs an issue? Well, the commentators are an issue too. They always stick on one player or one thing. Like Collinsworth, he's always about Mahomes. Romo is just like this. What I did here, when I did this, when I did that. It's just like commentate the football game. I don't care what you have done. I want to know what we're about to do here in this play. No one cares about the past while watching a football game. I don't care. I want to know what's happening in that game right there. I think that's another takeaway too. Is these refs have been absolutely not refs. Commentators have been absolutely annoying this week. I can't stand watching hearing them. That's why I prefer college commentators over NFL commentators because every NFL commentator that's a color commentator always well, when I played back in 1989, when I played in 2006, it's like we do not care. You're there to call the game versus blank versus blank. Talk about them. I don't care about you.
Mm-hmm.
That's
I
my.
think I agree with that.
And
I
they stick
think
with the
the
negative a lot too. They're always on
oh
negative.
yeah.
Like they keep bringing up like when the what was the game last week around the Georgia game. I'll use Georgia for example. They said that the guy's dad, he didn't have a dad growing up. His dad's here now, but they brought up like 4 times. There is negative things in life, but like repeatedly bringing it up in a game, who fucking cares? He
Yeah,
went through something terrible in his life. He grew from it. He's better from it. Move the fuck on.
yeah, yeah.
Seriously.
Not every game has to have a story
Mm-mm.
Yeah.
or a sad story. Excuse me. Not every game has to have that moment. Like just we're here to play the game. Like we under everyone goes through trials and tribulations
Mm-hmm.
every all the time. Everybody. You don't have to broadcast it nationwide. Who cares? Like move forward, talk about the game, and let's do that. NFL is not as bad as it is in college when it comes to like backstories and all that. But it's just the college commentators are on the board, and just in just sports right now is just awful. They
I
just
I I like Thursday night's commentating crew the
They're
most out of
amazing.
they're because they what they do is I think them and Eli and Peyton I think they do the best in commentating because
Mm-hmm.
yes they will bring up the past and what they have done but they don't do it the whole time. I
mhm.
Mm-hmm.
mean if you watch Eli and Peyton when they do it they'll have little skits like during the game or during halftime but they'll make sure to do it when the game is not going on.
Mm-hmm.
You know if let's say KC's about to run a whatever they call it, like the jet chip whip route that's 45 yards on the field. I don't want to hear Jonathan Vilma or whoever say, well, back in my day when I was playing, I would have never let that happen because you can tell from this angle and this angle.
But you're not playing anymore,
Fantastic.
bud. You're not playing anymore.
Mm.
No,
You
and they
still
did.
could play today. Why are you on a team? Why are you not a
Yeah.
team?
He didn't have to
And,
worry about that. They weren't doing that when he was playing.
and then we'll move on to the next situation after this. What I'm about to say here is, do you agree with this statement? I feel like good commentators should get frustrated on the mic when someone makes a bad decision. Like when Zach Wilson kept making bad decisions on Monday Night Football last week or a couple weeks ago, Peyton was like, "Come on, dude, come on, you're better than that." He was getting
Yeah.
frustrated because he's like, you can do this. Same with Eli, same with Kirkpatrick. He'd be like, when a player makes a bad decision, it's like you can't do that. You're a grown up here. You're an adult. Act like it. That's the type of commentating that I want to see, and hopefully it gets better over the years, or over the next couple of weeks. Excuse me. But yeah, that's our big thing right now, guys. The next thing we're going to talk about is the biggest injuries. We had 3 big injuries this weekend. Anthony Richardson will be out. Justin Jefferson got put on the IR, and Travis Kelce got hurt but did come back today. He did practice, but I think he will be limited in the game. Out of those 3, which one do you think will be the biggest hurt for their team?
I'm gonna go with Justin Jefferson, because Manchu, whatever his name is, he's won both games that he's gone out of. So Anthony Richardson's still a great player. He's still good. He's still a good guy. But Justin Jefferson for me is the guy because he leads. He's their team leader and everything.
No, I'm the same way. I think Justin Jefferson is the biggest loss in the team, due to the fact that he's the number 1 receiver, and the offense kind of goes through him. The running game hasn't been there this season, so it's all kind of gone through him and T.J. Hawkinson. So I think that's the biggest loss. Trey, what about you?
Me personally, I think Justin Jefferson is going to be the biggest issue or hindrance for a team, but I'm going to go with Travis Kelce because if he's limited, if we've noticed, I mean, it was even more apparent. He was hurt opening week, was it? Was he hurt
Mhm.
opening week? Yeah.
Mhm.
Mhm.
When Mahomes does not have Kelce on the field, he doesn't have a reliable target.
Mhm.
I mean, yes, the other ones have shown flashes. Rice has shown flashes. I don't know if Tony's bounced back or not.
Mm.
They show flashes. Pacheco's played very well, but when he throws the ball to Kelce, he knows if I get this ball anywhere close to this man, he's going to catch it. It's not going to go through his hands. He's not going to tip it up for the defense to get a pick six. He's either going to catch it or he's knocking it down. It's his security blanket. He can go to him no matter what, and he's a pretty damn good security blanket, I'd say.
Mhm.
Um, Probably one of definitely a top 3 tight end, probably a top wide. If he was a wide receiver, you'd count him as a top wide receiver, just because he's so beneficial to that team. So if he's not able to go full bore, who do they play? Do they play?
They played the Broncos. We're about to get to picks here in a second.
They might get a little bit lucky there since they're catching the Broncos. But
Yeah.
I mean, because they're a dumpster fire.
Yeah, that's pretty bad.
Yeah, but I think Justin Jefferson's going to be the one that I'm going to say, but not too much over what Kelce is because I
Right.
don't think Kelsey's
Okay.
Kelsey's their offense.
No, for sure. Let us know in the comments who you think of the biggest losses for their team: Anthony Richardson, Justin Jefferson, or Travis Kelce. Let us know in the comments. We'd love to see it. So let's go ahead and get the picks here,
Really
guys.
quick before we
Yeah.
start picks, I was going to mention this earlier, but I didn't really catch a leeway into it. So if I'm telling you guys who's better between Mahomes and Justin Fields, I think the hands down answer is going to be Patrick Mahomes, right?
Mhm.
Right.
That's a consensus general answer, and I would agree with you. Mahomes is better than Fields. Statistically, they are not as far off as they should be. Just as I saw this graphic the other day and I sent it in our group chat, and everyone's like, "What in the that doesn't seem right." But comparison side by side, Mahomes and Justin Fields. Justin Fields thrown for 1143 yards. Mahomes has thrown for 1287. That's not that much of a difference. Fields has thrown more passing touchdowns and one more interception than Mahomes. Fields has thrown 11 passing touchdowns. That doesn't even count as rushing touchdowns that he has.
Wow.
Mahomes has thrown 10. Fields has thrown 5 picks. Mahomes has thrown 4. Fields' passer rating 95.4. Mahomes 96. The only thing that Mahomes is absolutely blowing him out of the water in is obviously wins because the Chiefs are 4-1 versus the 1-4 Bears. But
Mhm.
I don't think wins is a quarterback stat. I really don't.
Yeah.
and then completion percentage, because Fields is at like 51% and Mahomes is at like 75, which is nuts. 75% is nuts.
Yeah.
But those numbers, they're not too far off, and
No.
I found that pretty surprising because everyone's been saying how bad Justin Fields is, how horrible he's been playing. His record as a starter is like 6-22. You know, not an MVP caliber player,
Yeah.
obviously.
Yeah.
It's
That's
not
a good
that
stat
far
to look
off.
at. It's a good stat to look at, especially today's football. I mean, just everybody says Justin Fields like terrible, but if Patrick Mahomes playing just like Justin Fields does, is Patrick Mahomes terrible this year now? No,
Right.
but
There's
All right,
always a
sorry,
narrative. There's
yeah,
always a narrative. But let's go ahead and get into picks here, guys. We'll go ahead and shoot them off for you here. We've got Thursday night Broncos at Chiefs. I've got the Chiefs. The Broncos, like Trey said, are a dumpster fire. The Chiefs are going to win this by a landslide.
yeah, Chiefs.
Chiefs.
Okay. We got another London game. We have Ravens at the Titans.
Ravens.
I'm going Titans.
I'm gonna go with the Ravens.
It's obviously the Ravens. If Lamar's receivers don't drop as many passes as they did, they're winning hands down.
Panthers at Dolphins.
Dolphins. Panthers are not getting their first. They're not getting their win.
Saints home. Saints on the road at the Texans.
That's gonna be a good game.
I'm going Texans.
Oof. The Saints played well. I'm gonna go with the Saints.
I'm gonna do the Saints as well because I don't know if the Texans can hold Alvin Kamara because he's been on a tear since he came back.
We have the Commanders at on the road at our Atlanta Falcons.
I'm going to Atlanta. It's a home game. Ritter plays his best at home, coming off of a really good game last week. I'm gonna go with Atlanta.
I'm gonna go to Atlanta too.
I'm gonna go Atlanta as well. First
What?
time we've all agreed.
Hold on a second. Just disclosure here. We had this discussion a little bit yesterday, and they both called me absolutely crazy for saying Atlanta's going to win. I just want that to be on the record. Go ahead.
Okay, perfect. And then we're gonna go Colts home on the road against the Jaguars. I'm gonna go Jaguars.
Yeah, I'm going to go Jags.
I'll go Colts.
Seahawks on the road at the Bengals.
Oof.
I'm going
Bengals. The Seahawks are playing well, but I think the Bengals will pull it out this week. Bengals.
Go Bengals. They're starting. If they may have caught their stride. So
Vikings on the road at the Bears. I'm going Bears.
Bears. The Bears.
Bears.
And then 49ers on the road at the Browns.
49ers.
I learned my lesson picking against the 49ers, so I'm going to go with the 49ers.
Same.
49ers. Yeah.
49ers as well. This is not going to be a fun game to watch. Patriots on the road at the Raiders.
That sounds like a barn burner. Matchup of the week. Game of the year.
I'm going Raiders.
Yeah, I go Raiders.
Is that at Raiders, you said?
Yep.
I'll go with Raiders, too.
And then a call out of this game. I think if Mac Jones comes out struggling quick, Zappy will play over 2 quarters.
Yeah, but then Belichick would go on there and say that Jones is still the QB1, even though he gets benched. I don't know how many QB1s get benched regularly.
Mm-hmm.
Just
Lions on the road at the Buccaneers.
It's gonna be a good game.
It's gonna be a really good game. I'm gonna go Lions.
Lions.
It's gonna be a proving game or whatever it is.
Cardinals at the Rams.
Rams. Cardinals been playing good.
Rams.
They've been playing better than what people thought they would do. Their offense is pretty solid.
And James Conner's not playing this week. He's doubtful. So if he was playing,
their rookie running back, their backup's pretty. He's not bad. He scored one time last week, I think.
Eagles at the Jets.
Eagles.
Giants on Sunday Night Football versus the Bills.
Why are they giving us these Sunday night games? Give me the Bills.
Yeah, Bills.
They're gonna railroad them. So, and then Monday Night Football, we've got the Cowboys on the road at the Chargers.
I'm picking the Chargers. I'm not picking Dallas anymore this year.
I'm going Chargers as well.
I'm done.
Yeah, Chargers, yeah, for sure.
I should have trusted my gut last week and not picked them.
You didn't. All right, guys. Well, we appreciate you guys tuning in this week. Let us know who you guys are picking for your picks for Sunday. Thank you guys so much for joining us. Like, comment, subscribe. We post it on TikTok daily, so go follow us on there. And I appreciate everybody, and y'all have a great day. Thanks.
Thanks, all. Appreciate y'all.
Yeah.